Okay.
It's a go. Well, welcome back to the fifth annual Faith, Hope, and Love Summit. We are completing a 5-year cycle, and I am welcoming you to the third evening, which is love, clarity, and the future that you create for yourself. And we have brought together 5 years of different stories, teachers, visionaries, to bring all this energy to not just have the desire for your dreams, but literally be able to have that sacred activation. And in that sacred activation, that doesn't mean that everything is done. It only means that things are just beginning. And as your frequency rises, as we experienced on Monday night, old frequencies, and for you guys out there, it is old patterns, kind of bump heads. Okay, they don't play nice. Things start to get fractured, they don't move smoothly, but I want you to know that that's just the process and there is nothing wrong with you. Okay, so I want you to know that. And so last night, the energy opened up for everything to be smooth. Now, I'm going to warn you, I'm experiencing very high Arctic winds right now, and Colleen being my co-pilot. If something glitches, she will do her very best to bring things back on. I do have a generator though, so we'll see what happens. And at the same time, because on Monday evening, the recordings got very, very glitchy, I now have them in YouTube for Premiere. And in the Premiere, we have the dates to continue, not just from today, but the 12th, 13th, 14th, and I'm presenting something for you again on the 15th. Again, it's going to be all the same time on YouTube at 11 a.m. So I just want you to be aware of that. And I also would love for you to be aware that if you register by January 1st, then you will still be receiving a gift basket. Okay, because in YouTube, for all the beautiful viewers that you are, I don't know who you are yet. And so the only way is for you to register so you get on the list so I can send that to you as well for coming in to this sacred circle. And thank you very much. I really greatly appreciate it. So before we begin, we're going to just stop for a moment and take a breath, a soft, gentle breath. And allow the space that you've opened up for yourself in the last couple of evenings and throughout the day, because you're going to find that things start working organically for you. And in that, you have, I just want to express my appreciation that you have shown up with heart, you've shown up with presence, and you've shown up with honesty. So tonight we're going to complete this cycle with grace and clarity and with love. So we are going to begin. And our first guest tonight is Russ Robertson. And Russ is in Canada, but he was called into a conference for the next 2 weeks down in Mexico. So he is pre-recorded, and fingers crossed on us sharing this and it gets to you without glitches. But this is going to be about how to save yourself from yourself. Okay? Life by design or default. Where are you sitting with that? And so we're going to go over just three major aspects. And of course, they're big, but this is going to be about 34 and a half minutes. Okay? So we're definitely condensing this, but it's going to be about lifespan, health span, and wealth span. So having said that, relax. Go ahead and turn off your camera if you wish, just so you can relax in your own comfort. And I am going to bring up beautiful Russ for everyone. And I've got the share. Oh, would help if I put the screens on. And Colleen, are we good?
We are good.
Russ, it is so wonderful to see you again. This summit. Oh, no.
We're way overdue. We were way overdue for reconnecting and bringing all of our ideas back to a place of peace and calm to share progress from the year.
Absolutely. And that's one of the major reasons why I love to bring together the Faith, Hope, and Love Summit come this time of year. And this is our 5th annual. But we do want to focus more now because of our journeys. And our journeys have been intense for us, you got to admit.
In a year, that's for sure.
And there is a lot of craziness out there. But we do want people to start to feel and understand that there are sacred activations that they can receive to be ready for the up and coming year. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit for our beautiful audience that has come in tonight or see our replay, but we're happy to be here. And this is the time of year where energetically the veils lift, and the lifting of it, you're just able to receive more than how your mindset was held before, and your heart does open more. And so we want to help make it easier for everybody to be more connected and aligned to themselves and also to something far greater than themselves. And that's where the faith, hope, and love comes in. So, everyone, Russ Robinson, honored to say a friend of mine, he is the founder and CEO, and I was also going to say author. You're writing something. I feel all of a sudden you're writing something. So there you go. Intuition does work, guys.
That's a little bit. Thanks.
Real Return of Life Strategies. That is his beautiful company. And he has some acronyms that go with this. And that's the first thing I want Russ to share with everyone.
Well, thank you for the invitation to come back and join with you. Speak to an audience at a time when the world seems very disconnected and individualized. We're all bombarded with all this information, the changes with artificial intelligence, turning artificial superintelligence, governments that are doing their own thing as governments always do. And I think we're looking for leadership. Real Return on Life Strategies was a company that we felt was truly necessary to bring people a sense of calm, a sense of peace, to invite them into a space where they could feel comfortable discussing their own worlds, learning from the plethora of things that I've done in my 65 years. To put a time scale, I've been fortunate to do so many things in my life, and I've been given so many insights and lessons. And as you can see behind me, I'm an avid reader and I love to learn constantly. So I thought, wow, we can deliver this benefit to all these people and let it resonate with them and help them form things. So what you were talking about is Real Return on Life Strategies is built on a process, and it's called GEAR. And so picture a gear in a machine. Well, GEAR stands for Get Everything Arranged Right. So getting everything arranged so that the machine works well and that you're ready for whatever comes, to build a resilience, to build a sense of calm, no matter what comes at you. And now we can understand ourselves in this world and where we resonate. I always like to use the statement, there's no right and there's no wrong in life. There's only consequences of our actions. It's how we respond. It's what meaning we give. It's what beliefs we have that form a filter, control in our work. And that's the interesting point, is that we're trying to control a universe that we can't control. We can't control nature. Nature just does what nature does.
Absolutely not. But to have strategies at hand is a pathway to help align, as you know, and most of you out there know, that's what I also provide in a different format because different things resonate with different individuals. So I bring spirituality, the unseen, into practicality, the tangible. And there's a path, there's an alignment. And it isn't, like Russ said, it is not about trying to control the universe. It is trying to flow with the universe and start to identify what really does resonate with you and energetically what is draining the crap out of you.
We talked a little bit in the past, about your potential. So if we could relate that, we have to look at three basic topics. I say your lifespan, your health span, and then your wealth span. And then the U plan behind that. So if you think about the old Plinko machines and there's all these things that are happening and they bounce around and they end up in specific slots.
Right,
And those
exactly.
slots is your funnel.
And I do want to qualify this for the people listening. When you're talking about the lifespan, the health span, and the wealth span, you are talking about the physical human being. Just to make that distinction.
So this is where I believe we start. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be redistributed. And we come into this world as energy. We leave this world in the physical form as energy. So when we're born, think about a battery, a 1.5 volt battery or a 9 volt battery with terminals. And that is just potential energy. That's all it is. So if there's nothing attached to those two 9 volt terminals, we've got a negative side and a positive side, and there's no flow. It's energy potential. When we're transitioning into this world, we're literally part of the universe, the universal energy.
Absolutely.
And that universal energy is beautiful. We're born perfect potential to do whatever it is that we're going to do in the world as an impact. So again, no right or no wrong, there's only consequences. And it's emotion. Energy is the E, and motion, which is action. So that's where we have to start to learn. And we learn to become an individual in form. We separate from our mother, the umbilical cord is cut, and then we become individuals based on needs. Those needs have to be met, otherwise we can't survive. So then we learn to, we get a smack on the butt if we need to have emotion, right? We're not breathing properly. And oh,
Exactly. We need that breath, that life force energy to come into us so we can move forward. Here go why I focus on the breath work.
Exactly. So this is so important. These are the basics of life survival. So we have fight or flight, which everybody knows in the world. The opposite of that is a concept called rest and digest. So we have to upload that energy. We have to build the potential of our energy within ourselves. That's learning process. We learn to breathe. We learn to be an individual. And we respond to our environment. Mom and dad provide for us, and we respond to that provision. If we don't like what we're not getting, we learn to cry because that's the first thing that we do, right? And that's how to become significant, how to gain the certainty, the challenge, the love and connection, and the significance in our world. Those are the base 4 human needs. There's 2 more. It's called growth and contribution, which is giving back to the world because it has to be a flow.
Absolutely.
So the potential that we have is how we wire into the world, how we connect our potential with something. So you can put a light on a battery in between the 2 terminals, and we shed light on our world. This is how we have to think about what we're doing, is shedding our impact.
Absolutely.
Then we gauge and weigh our future based on what we're learning, what we're gaining. We're increasing our potential and gaining resilience for whatever might happen in the world. Some people think it's circumstance. I believe it's happenstance. I believe the world happens for you and you're on a path. It's a life path. The form of our being is on a path. And eventually, if we're aligned to our path, we're coming along the path, and then we come to a Y in the road. If we're aligned to what we need to be doing in the world, universal energy, it's natural. There will be no choice which pathway we take. But if we're not aligned, we're going to go down another pathway.
Oh, yeah, we are.
And simply that's designed to teach us how to go back to our intended path. It's all a matter of learning. So it's a series of whys, which is a series of decisions that you decide what is your why, your needs, and the needs that you're being presented. And then we build habits. The habits are the gears, get everything arranged right so that we build up a resilience to use our energy to go where we need to go and find peace and fulfillment and calm, aligning with the universal energy.
Absolutely. And people forget that they actually have choice.
Suffering is a choice, you know. It is.
I know a lot of people that would dispute that, but it is the truth. And it's not that I have or you haven't been without different forms of suffering. And so it is a state where, okay, you start making a choice. I can keep going this, especially with that freak accident I had with my foot 3/4 off. Thank you very much. And what the medical world said that what I wasn't going to be able to do, I had the choice. Yes, I could follow their direction, but I could either stay in their mindset or I could expand far beyond that. And that was not an option for me to basically not have a foot and not be able to walk, let alone not dance again. So taking a different choice and being more aligned to who your true being is helps you and allows you to do so much more of what you initially think is impossible. It never can be. But with the universal plan, it is so much easier. Yes, so it is about aligning. It is about that choice. It is about, okay, so how do we set up these gears? Because we are a human biomechanical physiological machine.
Fact. That's a fact. So where this leads us, and I want to try and stay to the theme in light of timing, is lifespan, its accomplishment over a life. It's only our means, time is a means for mankind to measure and organize so that we feel we're gaining progress. And then we compare that. We are just comparison machines. If we don't have anything to compare to, then it has to be an experience. So I ask people, how does a rose smell? Well, they automatically say it's sweet. Well, no, sweet is a taste. A rose is an experience.
Mm.
How does a steak taste if you're not vegetarian? Horrible if you're a vegetarian, apparently, but the reality is you have to experience. You can add things to change the flavor, but it's literally you aligning with the experience, and then you compare the experience. Well, the steak doesn't taste like pork or doesn't taste like vegetables, and we compare things. So our thoughts are the key element to this whole thing, and then we add emotion to those thoughts. Most times it's fear and anxiety, and that's because we don't have a certain goal. We don't know where we're going, and we're afraid of the potential of it not being aligned with what we need, and therefore it puts us in fight or flight mode. That's where most people are today. They're constantly in fight or flight because they don't know where the information is going to resonate in their world and what it's going to do to them. So we flip that on its head and we start asking questions. So opinions are like belly buttons, everyone's got. There's a few other body parts that everybody's got close to. But if we take, and if I give you my opinion is in your face because it's maybe something that doesn't resonate with you. But if I ask questions, so how are you making out with that? How are you going to dance with no foot? Oh, well, dogs can run on three legs. There's always crutches or whatnot, but it's how are you going to do it? What is your why? Why do you need this? And what happens if you don't have it? It's a process. It's a resilience. So we take the time to slow down, breathe, evaluate, and get everything arranged right. We build habits, and those habits are how you respond. That's all it is. What are you ready for? Your brain is doing a comparison. Oh, I've been here before. I've driven down this road 1,000 times to work, and I passed Walmart, McDonald's. Oh, I don't remember how I got to work. My brain took over and became efficient with my energy so that I had energy for other things. And that energy now is afforded to where it needs to go. But your brain doesn't know the difference between a good habit and a bad habit. It only knows that it's been there before, and this is how we dealt with it. So now we have to train our brain for the result that we choose in the most efficient way. Otherwise, your subconscious runs 95% of your world. Your conscious only about 5%, but of 120,000 thoughts a day. And we overthink everything. There's the fluff. What color are the clouds? What color is the wall? And then there's the things that affect you. So we eliminate the things and automate the things that we don't need to pay attention to, and we bring the things that are solely important to a place of peace and calm, fulfillment and containment of our potential path for the future.
Absolutely. And, people have a tendency to run too fast, too scattered, misunderstand the power in the calm state, don't understand that that's where they gained their clarity. Because without the clarity, it's kind of like sometimes throwing spaghetti on the wall and let's see what sticks. And that is not going to work long term. And we get caught in the time sequence of what we feel is the time running too fast, running out of. And these are all constructs that ultimately, when you do slow down into a calming state, and yes, there's many different breath techniques, but the simple heart coherence just puts you there in a very, within moments, you now start to take a look and start reflecting back because that calm state is what's the slower state is actually, I know it sounds like a conundrum, but it's going to get you there faster, more aligned, and more efficiently.
No, it's about training for situations. So you don't go to the gym and lift the weight once and say, yeah, you're a weightlifter, but you're not in shape.
Oh,
Okay.
no, not at all.
You don't you don't learn to drive. You weren't born in a car. You weren't given that inherent skill until you can develop it and create the response that you need as a driver. So this is your life as well. So lifespan is about understanding we stretch things over a period of time. Health span is how we deploy our energy through ingestion of the right foods to give ourselves uplift of getting the sleep. Those are all calm states. And we need to train for those calm states in our world and make sure that we treat this avatar like if you don't maintain, your car is going to go to crap and it's not going to run well. So that's the health span. That's understanding what you need at different times in your life and what we introduce at different times. Because as a 65-year-old, I understand that I can't go out and party all night long without having consequences afterwards. So, I know there's a difference in my needs that evolve over time. And then, so that's lifespan, health span, and then there's wealth span. So wealth span is an accumulation. And I love to say that wealth is based in knowledge. And knowledge is based in the ability for us to have what we need in our lives when we need it. And then we can add things. So if you like a roof over your head, of course, you're going to have to accumulate some kind of wealth to be able to pay for. So you need to function in the world. I was in the wealth management space for 3 decades, stocks, bonds, insurances, all of that stuff. Okay, so I got all that experience and I knew how to accumulate wealth. The world has given me a lot of things that I can share in that space. So we can talk about all the components of building wealth in life. That's getting everything arranged right. It all comes down to, okay, what result do we want? And let's slow down, look at what we're doing, look at how that's affecting us, and how can we change that? If you don't like anything in your life, if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, get rid of the mirror. You can change it. You don't have to look in the mirror. You just have to look internally to you. And the reality is, I mean, people do tattoos and they do all these things to decorate their world, but they can't change who they are. They can change how they react to who they are and begin to love themselves, begin to feel good about themselves. Instead of comparison, instead of blame, this is what I'm given, how about accountability? This is what I've got to work with. There was a thing called MacGyver on TV, and he'd have a jackknife or he'd have a straw or he'd have a string, whatever. You use what you've got and get yourself prepared for where you're going with a plan. That's the U plan.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because just constantly acquiring knowledge without taking any action, there is no wisdom in that. There is no plan. There is no way to be able to be resilient when something goes differently than what you anticipate. And we do
This is
have
where,
different timelines.
right. This is where real return on life strategies comes in.
Hmm.
Is because you're looking for quality, not quantity.
That's right.
You're looking for value, not blame. You're looking for compensation, which helps you feel good. I can't make you smile. I can't make you laugh. I can't make you mad. I can't make you sad. That's your choice. And you're responding to what you're seeing, what's being presented to you. So the reason why you and I get along so well is because we understand that it's a flow between us. It's a flow within the world. It's part of the universal attraction. And, it's interesting. If you take two magnets, two south poles will repel each other apart. A north pole and a south pole will give twice as much magnetic field, the energy of attraction, by working together. If you understand the Eastern concepts of using other energy in combination of your own to give you what you want or what you need more so, this is how the alignment works. The earth is one big magnet, and it's how that affects us. It's an understanding, it's an inner way to look at it from the inside out, the inner game, as opposed to the things that are affecting us, which is the outer game, and how you use the inner game to your advantage for peace, calm, and fulfillment, and take us in a direction, a life direction, lifespan, paying attention to the importances of health span, and we accumulate wealth span with a U plan that brings all of those things together. We're actually going to take, and we're doing a course in January that I invite people to. And this is what it's based on. It's where do you start? It's so take the time now to reflect on what's important in your life, what's working, what's not working. I call them energy vampires, draining your energy. The news is constantly draining your energy, putting thoughts in your head. Oh my God, what am I going to do about all of this? That's emotion. Your energy and action, reaction, gaining no traction. It's a deterrent. Pay attention. Let's
Absolutely.
get everything arranged right. Let's make the important things the most important things. This is what we're doing.
This is what we're doing. And we're here to help you. We'll have information in the gift basket for you at the end of the summit. On Friday, you will have this wonderful contact information for Russ and be able to explore a little bit more about what he has shared with you right here. But it is right now a perfect time for reflection. And as you come into the summit, you will be able to pick up a few tips just on the breathing to get you easy into that calm state. That will be a tool that will last you for a lifetime. And it is about choice. You always have a choice and what resonates with you at what point in time. And don't worry about the time. Just come into that slower state so you can become more clear, so you can start aligning with where your path really is. So, having said all of that, thank you so much for joining us. We will be sending so much love and blessings to you through this holiday season and beyond. And please keep coming and tell your friends. because we'd love to have you. And this is also, the replays will be on YouTube for you because it's very saturated information in the beautiful conversation that I just had with Russ of what we're sharing. We're sharing tools with you that you can actually gain control over your choices and your actions. So you'll see more of the results in your life that you desire.
There is so much hope out there that we're not seeing because of the noise. So it's how do we slow down enough to eliminate a lot of the noise, the things that aren't important, and we find that calm. In the middle of a tornado, there's a calm spot.
Mhm.
That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be. Stuff is going on all around you. It all works out. If we strip away all of the noise, if we strip away the circumstance and realize we're all fine, we're all okay, we're exactly where we need to be. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday, it doesn't matter what happened tomorrow. The future never arrives because when it gets here, it's the
Right.
present.
That's exactly right.
Can't change the past. That's history. We can only change how we view it. So how do we learn from it? Those are opportunities. The challenges are for us to grow and learn and become resilient. Thank you so much, Karina. This has been an amazing conversation. I love these conversations with you, and I wish for all of the people out there, just the faith, have faith in the universe. Hope is everywhere if we look for it. And love is only what we can share together. The love of ourselves, the love of each other, the love of the universe, the love of what's around us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you, Russ, very much. And the more we learn to love ourselves and not judge, the more light we shine, and that light goes out into the world and impacts everything you say and do. You don't have to be a grandstander of magnificent big programs, of huge missions. You just have to be in the state of your unique, magnificent being, and you will shine.
And one parting comment that I will leave with. I realized a long time ago that everything that is an irritant for me starts with me. It's me that determines it's irritating. It's myself that determines that that is not what I think, want, or need in my situation. So if everything that irritates us starts with us, wouldn't it make sense for us to see what we need and focus on those things, put our energy and our potential to the things that are important? Get rid of the irritants, realize that they're there. The world's not going to change because we want it to change.
Yeah, no,
It's us and how
it's
we
us to
respond.
change.
Absolutely.
1000%, 1000%. Ergo, another word for that could be triggers. And there is all different ways to work with that. And the beginning of next year, I'm going to bring you through an experience that's going to help through all of that as well. So, Russ, thank you.
Here we grow.
Here we grow. I love that. Here we grow. Russ, thank you so much. I have missed you. It has been a long year. And thank you so very much for honoring us to be with us.
Thank you for the invitation. So glad we could have this conversation, and I look forward to growing with you.
Thank you. Me too. I wouldn't want to do it without you. Until then, we're sending you love. God bless. Have the most gorgeous, wonderful holidays. And just know you are magnificent, wonderful human beings. And it's actually all in your hands. Well, was that not a lot of information that Russ could share with us? So it is going to be, if anything there truly resonated for you, definitely go into the replays. He's just a wonderful being, and I think it helps to sometimes to have acronyms. So gears is a very smart one to be able to follow quite easily. And so we're sending a lot of love to Russ during the conference that he's in the middle of right now. And we're grateful to be able to have him. For those who actually don't know who I am, I always forget to introduce myself. Never fails, but it's okay. Eventually you're going to know who I am. But I am Karina Carj'an Bowman, and I am a holistic health practitioner, a dream seer, which is a lot more involved than trying to interpret anybody's dreams. It's what I see with intuition and the potential within the being of whoever trusts me enough to step into my world. I'll be able to help guide them as to their alignment. And I'm a master frequency and energy architect, is a nice way to put it. And also an author of Let's Be Clear, Connect Yourself to Spirit and to Your Dreams. Having said that, thank you. Everybody take a nice, soft little breath one more time. Right before we bring up our next and final closing guest for this beautiful summit. Just drop right in. So understanding that we can set up everything in order, in the right order, to be able to go from here to there, we need some methodologies. We need to be able to express our voice and feel free. We need to be able to celebrate and celebrate with the breath for all the things that we can come through with conscious breathing. To be able to go from stress to strength and have that inner calm and resilience. To understand our lifespan, our health span, and our wealth span. To know what it's like to have an operational grace in your life when you have systems that help make your life easier. Once you become clear and aligned as to where you want to be. So, of course, I always highly recommend that we first connect to ourselves because it is an inner game first, as in gemology. I'm a graduate gemologist with GIA. And the way that we can define what the gem is, where it came from, what happened, we actually have to look inside first in order to determine its external environment. That is the same with us. And one of my logos that you see with my little cub, that happens to be a shot of a sapphire. And it looks like the cosmos because inside that is a diamond within it. And that is how we are. We have the diamond within us. We really do. And so we're going to bring you a strategic understanding about how to bring yourself present in the world when you have any form of business, whether it is brick and mortar or virtual. You still need some, these days, a virtual presence. And so you'll often hear the term branding, because there's so much noise out there. You have to kind of be recognizable to the individuals. And with singers, they have a certain cadence about them, that certain particular singers that have their own rhythm, and it's unique the way that they present sound to you and make you feel emotionally. Oh, you know who that is. And I love watching The Voice because that's exactly what happens with all that. But it's the same on visual presence, on text presence. And so, to help us understand a little bit more about that and how we can enter that world easier, our dear co pilot, Colleen, who happens to also be my digital media manager and creator of all the shorts that you see. So, if there's any style in there that you really like and say, oh, I'd like to talk to her about it, please, she will be available and information in the gift basket. But tonight, she's going to bring what's called brand signals. The power of the first impressions and, of course, the energetic alignment. And with that, Colleen, I would love to bring you up. And I think I'm going to see if I can spotlight you.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Well, I'll pin you. At least I know that much. Okay. Well, hello, Colleen.
Hello, hello. I'm so excited to be here this evening. Thank you for this beautiful invitation. It's really special to be here on this fifth summit. I have actually gotten to be a participant in a few of the summits, I think the third, fourth, and fifth. Well, there, I see my face.
There you go.
So, yeah, this is really special, and I'm just really excited to be here with you this evening.
Well, we absolutely love to be having you here because you're always behind the scenes. And being behind the scenes, often people think it's very easy and it just happens without understanding that there's a structure, and anybody can come in a visual presence if they have some sort of system. And you do have a system, and it's also something that you're sharing as a gift. But we're going to go over a few points with that right now. And where would you like to start?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of times when I work with different clients, I've noticed that they are exceptional at what they do. I mean, take a holistic health practitioner that I happen to know very well. And, the levels of her expertise are just, there's so many levels to it. There's a lot of depth involved. And sometimes it's hard to truly express that in the digital world. And, a lot of times I just want to express that it's not necessarily that you're needing more content. That is a falsity that I feel gets put out there. In fact, it's just that we need more clarity in how you're showing up, how you're presenting yourself, and that there is a coherence with all of that as well.
And isn't one of the main things of the feeling in the sense of being unseen and not quite what to do about it? And at the same time, people are also hiding because they don't want to be seen, but yet they have to be seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand that one because I went through that for the first year and a half. I wouldn't even turn on my camera at all. If you can believe that, folks.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's part of the journey of showing up, especially when you're in beginning stages of starting your presence. Um, you really just have to start. You just got to start showing up, of course. So,
Okay, so that means they have to make a decision. They're willing to show up, right?
yes, absolutely.
So when you're now talking about now there's a core message, and in the core message, really revolves around them being their authentic self. And the way to do that is what their frequency is versus the information that's being put out. Because there's a lot of noise
Hmm.
going on out there. And so, what do we mean when we're talking about somebody's frequency? Actually, everybody gives off frequencies, every mood gives off frequencies. And it's like, who do you, as Russ was saying, what needs do you want to have met? So, what decision, how do you want to, first, what impact do you want to bring? How do you want to show up? That's a very important aspect when we're talking about frequency versus the information, because a lot of people will tell you how to market and it's blah, 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 blah. And it's the same thing. You hear it from everybody. And so, how do you cut through that?
Absolutely. So, I would say when we're talking about frequency versus information, the frequency aspect is that we're experiencing your brand versus we're just gaining information from your brand. So, an example that I would like to use is Chanel. A lot of people are very familiar with this. It's a popular brand. And for me, when I think about it, immediately I think of, luxuriousness, um, jewelry, and high fashion. And that in itself is an experience. So when people think of your brand, we also want them to think of a particular experience. And so this is going to be reflected in, of course, in your content, but in your visuals, in the
Hmm.
selection of, the style of imagery that you select, perhaps more vivid colors versus more muted tones. The tone of how you're delivering, for example, a blog article. What's the tone that you want that written in? And that's going to help reflect your personality and your overall experience.
Well, that makes total sense because if it resonates with you, then the ones that are ready to receive it, it will resonate with them. And it is about a feeling. It is not just about two-dimensional words. Let me put it that way.
Yes, absolutely. Sensory words also.
Exactly. So, what's a calling card?
I love that. So, a calling card actually, back in the olden days, people still use them. But it's a business card, so to say. It was, you're leaving your card. So that people can get in touch with you. Perhaps it had some sort of embellishment on it. It might have had a gold embellishing or, just a static logo with a phone number. But the overall idea was that you intentionally left a piece of you, basically, for someone to reach out and contact you. And so now we live in this digital world, and so we kind of have to take that printed calling card and digitalize it, so to say.
Okay, well that makes total sense. It's not always easy to transition from the physical world into the digital. I've been working with companies for a few years now, trying to be able to do this seemingly effortlessly. And trust me, guys, it isn't. Uh, there's always something else when it comes to tech. So it is a sense of people kind of understanding also, other than leaving a piece of you, also understanding part of who you are before you even speak, correct?
Absolutely. Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. So there's one more aspect here. I think you used the term becoming a signal.
Yes. I was just going to mention about kind of silent communication, how you brought up without even speaking. You should be silently communicating, and that's that you're broadcasting your signal. You're expressing who you are without saying a word. Hmm.
So, what kind of tips would you have for somebody who wants to establish some sort of digital presence, something that they've never done before, they're not comfortable with, but they kind of need to know how to go about it because they recognize it's something that they need a little bit of, not necessarily a whole bunch, but a little bit. What kind of tips will we have for the audience?
Absolutely. So let's go with the example we had used about Chanel. And so, say you want to present yourself as more of a high-end style of brand. Suggestions I would make towards your branding would be that most luxury brands, they're very minimalist. So we don't need a lot on the page. So to say, say we had an image, very minimal amount of text, maybe one or two sentences. And this should be oh, we're going to have a little designer learning time right now. So sans serif means without feet. So when you're selecting a font, you would want a sans serif font versus a serif. Those are the ones that have little feet. And I'm talking about the text when you're looking at different font styles. You'll notice that either the more classical style, those are usually serif, versus, as I was saying, the more minimalist style of fonts, those are called sans serif. So that would be a good starting point for you to select a font, a sans serif font, and like I said, some sort of imagery that doesn't have like a lot going on. It's very to the point, I'd say. For example, a bag, maybe we just have a nice casual backdrop with a fabric, not a busy fabric, just a simple fabric. And that kind of already is starting to give you the idea of something more luxurious, something, high end. So
Something
those are
that's
the,
clean and it speaks for itself
yes, absolutely.
instead of all the noise surrounding it, which actually will devalue what it is.
Yes, absolutely.
So I love that. So in the grat in the gift basket, our
Yes.
gratitude gift basket, we have a few things in there that are going to help to get people just to moving a little bit. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because we have been virtual here, whether in live in Zoom or in YouTube, and some people just don't know how to first go about it. And it, I have to say, a lot of classes and academies overcomplicate it. And it will, honest to God, it will spin you around to the point where you're so overwhelmed by it. So we're trying to simplify it a little bit for you so you have something practical also to take away and kind of think about things for the beginning of the year to make it a little easier for yourself. So in that there is a few invitations that Colleen has for you, but she also has a few guides. And one of them is also if you wanted a social identity on LinkedIn, how to first start to present that. So we want you to definitely take advantage of these resources because they are there for you. And Colleen, we thank you very much for bringing this forward about branding and how it really is something that is a representation in the best possible manner that one would want to step out in the public and start to be seen, but resonate with what that is, be comfortable and love it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled that I had the opportunity to present today and speak a little bit about, this energetic coherence and, showing up visually and energetically. So your audience will intuitively know that you're someone you can trust. And the gift that I've included for this year is uncovering those silent signals through a little self-diagnostic. So thank you again, Karina. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you, Colleen, very much. It's beautiful, and always I deeply appreciate you in so many ways and love you.
oh,
She
thank you so
is like my
much.
little sister now, guys. And in the very beginning, she was introduced to me through somebody else. So, communication, as Gaby was saying, sometimes the communication is easy and it's meant to align as well. It doesn't always have to be challenging. So, I appreciate that. I am going to, there is one thing now I would like to be able to do in the closing. I do have a closing because we are coming full cycle. We are shedding the rest through reflection and what we don't want. And we are making space for, honestly, the quantum era that is starting to show up. And so sometimes it gets a little rocky. And sometimes it's just perfectly smooth and wonderful after. But we're also in the holiday season, and the holiday season, the frequency is higher. In the height, it allows you to receive easier, clearer of what you need, even if it's something that you might not know that you need. And that is important as well. So I want to be able to, from my heart, really thank you for being part of the 5 years of the summit in this sanctuary, where we have been gathering wisdom and healing and inspiration and heart centered truth. But cycles do have a rhythm, right? And they open, they rise, and when the work is complete, they're done. So I do want to thank every speaker for all of these 5 years and every soul that has come live or saw our replays, who contributed their voice, their story, their presence, their journey. I want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for growing, as Russ would say, and for allowing yourself to receive. But tonight we're shifting and we are entering a new era, a quantum era. You really are. Where transformation does not have to take years of the path that I went through, but I went through everything so I can help shift things for you in moments. Some things will be in moments. They really will be. And where healing isn't linear, it's dimensional. And that's my home. I work in dimensions. And hope is not passive, it is creative. And it's where faith becomes an inner compass that guides the next evolution. Something that is beyond yourself, something greater. The source energy is there for you. It's just about aligning with it. And this is not the final end of Faith, Hope, and Love Summit in the sense, because it really doesn't end, it becomes organic. The cycle is complete, but the path now opens, the new path to other sides of gathering. And honestly, it's where we just don't talk about clarity, we embody it. Okay. And a lot of you know that clarity connection is one of the strongest first places to come inside and rest and slow down with. And there are techniques for that. But a lot of people try and avoid that all the time. But we don't want to seek purpose. We don't want to be out there seeking it, going for it, grabbing it. We want to create from it. That energy is very different. It's not chasing, it's allowing. And it is creating. And that actually is the higher law of the universe than the law of attraction, is the law of creation. And clarity rules it all of how it shows up in your life. It really does. So we just don't heal from the past. We activate the future. That's why this has been a sacred activation. It's where things, your soul calling starts to stir. And listen to yourself. When you feel any type of pull, start to be open to it. Just slow down and breathe and hear what you have to tell yourself. Let it all settle for everything that you've received in these last 3 days. Allow it to become organic. Let it integrate. Let it help awaken you. And know that you're stepping into a field where your dreams, and they are important, and your alignment and your source connection become the foundation of everything you create. The Faith, Hope, and Love Summit has completed its cycle, but your next cycle, your quantum era, begins now. I am so grateful for all of you to be with us as we go into the new year, and we have a lot coming up. And you're going to get to hear about it very soon. It's going to be more straightforward of working with the unseen, the metaphysical world, to bring it into the physical world. Now it's no nonsense time. We're coming to the year of the horse. And so now things are going to move rapidly for those that are ready. And if not, your timing is perfect, whatever it is. But I do want you to know and understand that you are amazing, wonderful beings. And I would love for everybody to be able to start to recognize that within themselves, love themselves so much more deeply, shine and radiate brilliantly. This holiday season, so many blessings I wish for you. Beautiful new memories, releasing what needs to be released, allowing yourself to be. That is my blessing for you. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon, and enjoy whatever holidays you celebrate. Enjoy them, and celebrate you. Until I see you next time, God bless.